Imagine living as Harry Potter lived, in a closet, only for your whole life instead of just the first 12 years of it, and never being allowed to leave. Quote, I'm warning you now, boy. Any funny business, anything at all, and you'll be in that cupboard from now until Christmas. End quote. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, Book 1. Would you want your kid to be treated as Harry Potter was? Of course not. Today, my intent is to convince my listeners that small betta tanks should be banned. I have worked with betta fish for over 10 years and started breeding them 5 years ago. I have learned what works and what doesn't, what to do and what not to do when it comes to breeding betta fish, raising bettas. This matters to you because, in a way, you're being lied to by retail stores who want to make you think it is okay to keep a betta in a small, enclosed spaces. The first reason small betta tanks should be banned is bowls are too small. Another reason includes how big the fish gets, and the final reason is the fish's well-being. Quote, people assume pet store employees are knowledgeable and never look up additional information. When the betta dies after a few months, they are told it passed away from old age. End quote. Aquarius.com. As a side note, betta fish can live anywhere from 1 to 5 years, and the oldest known betta fish to lived to be 9 years old. Betta bowls should be banned because they are too small. One way to teach a new possible fish owner that betta bowls are too small is to explain the toxic ammonia, waste, buildup. In small bowls, ammonia from the fish's waste will build up quickly, meaning that the water will need to be changed every few days instead of once every other week as necessary in a tank. Quote, betta fish are often seen living in bowls that are too small to allow normal swimming and hiding behavior. They should not live in bowls. Instead, they should ideally be in a 5-gallon glass or plastic tank or larger. End quote. Mueller, Beth. Another thought to consider is the heat fluctuation. Pet stores will tell you to buy a small heater for your bowl so that the water stays warm. The problem with this is the way heaters work. They turn on when the water starts to cool down and turn off when the water is at the correct temperature, supposedly stabilizing the water. Quote, most people don't realize that bettas are tropical fish, Dr. Kelly explains. Their tank needs to be kept within a distinct range of 76 degrees Fahrenheit to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Owners should measure the tank temperature with a thermometer. Because most homes are kept at a lower temperature, an in-tank water heater will be needed to maintain the temperature. End quote. Mueller, Beth. This is not helpful in a betta bowl because the water is going to heat up really fast in a small amount of time. Due to the small amount of water the bowl has, and will cool down almost as fast, leaving an uncomfortable living situation for a betta, a constant heat to cold fluctuation. It can also stress the fish out and possibly shorten the fish's lifespan. Another reason betta bowls should be banned is how big the fish get. Betta fish grow 2 to 3 inches. Pet stores will tell you that you need about 1 gallon of tank space per every inch a fish gets. So, logically, because bettas get 2 to 3 inches long, a betta should have a minimum of a 3-gallon tank. Some people get intimidated when they learn that a bigger tank will be easier Some people will get intimidated when they learn that a Betta should have a minimum of a 5-gallon tank, making them shy away, when really, a bigger tank will be easier to care for. Quote, if they're in a bowl, water changes will be much more frequent. Thus, there is much more maintenance involved. End quote. Better YouTube. With all this in mind, why do pet stores even sell 0.10-gallon tanks? Some types of Betta fish, Betta giants, can get even bigger than 3 inches. Some can get up to 6 inches long. These Bettas are more rare and harder to breed, but that would mean that they need at least a 5-gallon tank. There is no sensible way that you could fit a giant Betta in a small, quart-sized jar with a plant growing out of it. As stated earlier, Betta bowls are unacceptable because of the ammonia buildup that could possibly kill a Betta if it is not changed often enough, making it more work for the owner than a 10-gallon tank would be. Another good way to look at this is from the fish's viewpoint. They will likely only be able to swim in small circles, not being able to swim in large stretches or depths. Would you like to live your whole life not being able to run in a straight line if you were feeling cooped up? Finally, Betta bowls should be banned for the fish's well-being. A person can easily get depressed if they live in a small, cramped room with no opportunity to leave or get proper exercise. Why shouldn't the same be for fish? For a fish. You can see a dramatic change in a Betta fish if you move a Betta from one of those small, unheated and unfiltered plastic cups from a pet store to a 10-gallon tank that is heated and filtered. The fish are active. The fish are active, appear happy, and are getting better brain stimulation. A sad Betta fish could result in a short, depressed lifespan. If you stick a Betta fish in a small bowl, you might find them not very exciting. They may just sit at the top or bottom and not move around much. Or worse, get illnesses such as ick, clamped fin, or fin rot. Bettas can still get sick in a larger tank, but it will be much easier to keep up with the water changes in a bigger tank. To sum up everything we learned today, Betta fish need much more space than a quart to live a long, happy life. Betta bowls are too small, and Betta bowls are not good for the Betta's well-being. With all this in conclusion, I urge you to please reconsider the size of tank or any kind of pet cage you are getting the next time you get a pet. A Betta in a larger tank will be more active, and that could have the outcome of a longer lifespan. Betta fish need a bigger tank than more people realize to live a long, happy life. Thank you for listening. Only I already messed up again. End quote. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, Book 1. Would you want to be